The only difference was...
you know, I can add on to something before you continue, ne?
Yeah.
When Pito left, he left who? Rulani.
Yeah.
It's the same Rulani that was there when Pito was there. Now Rulani is gone, Pito's gone. Watch Mamelodi Sundowns collapse.
Listen, let me continue.
I continue.
Let me continue. It's almost as if South Africans and footballers have a very toxic relationship. Just because someone played football and we want to celebrate them doesn't necessarily mean that every one of these guys was a hero. You understand what I'm saying? You have to first ask yourself a key question. What did he bring for the country? Because when he plays for Bafana Bafana, he's carrying the South African flag.
Yeah.
So what is he bringing for that flag?
Hello and welcome to the Diski Preview Show. It's the round table, ladies and gentlemen. My name is yours truly, Mr. E, and I'm flanked by our sports analyst, the in-house sports analyst. On my left is yours truly, uThisha weDiski. And by the way, by the time we're done with this show, we'll be having a PhD in sport. uThisha weDiski, how are you doing? And welcome to the show.
All is well. Thanks. It's great to be here.
Fantastic. And on my right,
I got a new name, Mr. Lucky.
Mr. Lucky.
I think people confuse. They confuse Lucky no Sports Hall. Hi, Baba. Accurate, Mr.
Oh, from Mr. Sport On to Lucky to Ntlantla. What are we going to get next time? Mlungis.
Whatever comes next, we'll have to find out next season.
Yes, and the gentleman who just said something right now is yours truly, Mr. Mo, the guy and the gentleman who's going to give us some more insights on what's happening on the world of football in Mzansi. We're going to be taking a look at what is happening to Rulani. There is Ribeiro, there is Nabi. Kaizer Chiefs is in Turkey since 2024. When was that? 2014. They've never been out of the country for their preseason. Stay tuned. We're going to be stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at all these in detail.
Rasmus Højlund, thunderous. It's an absolute net buster.
You are watching the Diski Preview Show, and it's the round table. What do you think about the show? Let's see that on the comment section. You can like, you can share. What else can you do, uThisha weDiski?
You subscribe, you like, you share, you comment, and more always says, share the video with your friends. Exactly. Don't be stingy.
That's the world of YouTubers, right? Yeah, let's quickly take a look at our first topic today. We're going to take a look at the movement of Rulani. He's no longer at Sundowns. He's no longer at Cloud Corp. He had to take a flight straight to, is it Morocco? Yes, he went to Morocco and he has joined, tell them.
Wydad Casablanca.
Wydad Casablanca. I think it's one of the biggest enemies of Mamelodi Sundowns. So what a switch.
No, that's not really the biggest. When you look at the continent, I think Al Ahly is the team that's, Mamelodi Sundowns' biggest enemy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Wydad Casablanca, that's the team that lost the African League to Sundowns in the final.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense for them to have taken that loss very personally and for them to also come back and get the services of Rulani Mokwena. Yeah. But you have to ask yourself the question, is Wydad at this point in time the same level as Mamelodi Sundowns?
Yeah, because I saw, I think the last league, the last season, they finished at position number 6. So they are not a team that are doing very well right now by their standards.
It's not plug and play. It's not Pep leaving Bayern to go to Manchester City, finding them at the top of the league already. He's actually going on and taking on a challenge of taking a team that's, at the top, but now is sitting 6th on the table to actually take them back to the top. Yeah. So the question is, and someone was asking, will the Moroccans be patient enough with Rulani to actually get the project where it needs to get? Yeah. And how many players and how many staff members is Sundowns going to lose to Rulani at Wydad Casablanca? Obviously, when we're speaking today, as we shoot, he's been there for just 6 or 7 days. Yeah. So it hasn't even actually been a week. So there's still a lot of changes that are going to happen, both on Sundowns' side and for Wydad Casablanca, depending on whether or not he's going to pull some stuff with him to go to Wydad, and will he pull some players with him to go to Wydad. We know that Gaston Serino is now available. We know that Zungo is also left. Yeah. We know that there was the question about Loche's future. There's a lot of players that at the end of the day we might see going to Wydad Casablanca.
Yeah. But with that said and done, more, is that not going to weaken Mamelodi Sundowns? Because I know Rulani has been at Mamelodi Sundowns since 2014, 10 years, a whole decade there, and he's been said to be the brains and the man behind the success of Mamelodi Sundowns in recent times. Don't you think that his movement, and obviously we're going to see the movement of other players. I know they want to explore the African continent, and isn't that going to affect negatively Mamelodi Sundowns?
Do you not think that the reason why he's out of a job is because of that very reason? Because he got to a place of influence and he used that influence to, run the ship the way he wants.
Yeah.
And don't forget that at Sundowns, it's a matter of you produce results or you don't. You understand? You don't. It's like Manchester City. Manchester City was winning the league for a very long time.
Yeah.
But they needed Pep Guardiola to come in and win the Champions League.
Yeah.
And even when Pep Guardiola was winning the league, they
Yeah.
were still complaining, where's the Champions League?
Yeah.
So for a club the size of Mamelodi Sundowns, you're giving them what they already have.
Yeah.
They have it.
They already
had
have
it with Pito. They had it with the three coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day,
Now
Sundowns...
it's now 2.
Exactly. if Betfred says to you, Mr. E, you're producing these results on YouTube with the two guys next to you.
Yeah.
And then you say to them, I don't like Mo. Then they get rid of me. And then you're like, uThisha can stay, Mar. I part. Then
you must report to me.
next year you're producing the same numbers.
Yeah.
Are they gonna stay? You're successful,
Yeah.
or you've given them what they already have?
Yeah,
You
or
understand?
you haven't done any changes.
And
the
the
only
argument-
change is that we're now minus 1%.
And the argument remained. A lot of people were quoting the fact that they won the African title.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying, no, but they won the African title, but that tournament is new.
Yeah.
It doesn't carry the same weight. It's more money, yes, but
Yes.
it doesn't carry the same weight as the CAF Champions
CAF
League.
Champions
Because
League.
CAF Champions League has the reputation, has the
He
history.
didn't manage to win it himself. I think
Exactly.
if he had won that, I think that was going to be the most treasured accolade for him with regards to his career.
And I just want to mention uThisha because he's the one who painted that picture about Rulani when we were all happy about Sundowns' performance. He said, guys, I see you guys are crying about everything, but Lomuntu are winning the Champions League.
Yeah.
And that's what he was supposed to do as Spaniard. So uThisha saw it coming yet again. Mr. Lucky was luckier once more. But Unhlanhla. But
Tisha, weDiski, tell me something. I think in one of the conversations that we had on the round table, you said Mamelodi Sundowns is or was destroying South African football. Now with the movement of Rulani, were you specifically referring to Rulani or Mamelodi Sundowns as an institution?
I'm glad we're going back there. Because when I said that, everyone thought I was nuts. I was talking garbage. And I told you the reason why I'm saying that. Uguti Rulani is going to take Sundowns and put it there.
Yeah.
And the whole country Bafana becomes there.
Yeah.
And then they fall.
Yeah.
When they fall, the fall is going to be hard.
So are you saying
That's exactly
Are you saying now
what
Mamelodi
happened.
Sundowns is falling?
I'm not saying that.
You are implying.
I'm saying they're falling.
They're falling.
I'm saying they're falling. So what happened with the Rulani? I expected this, as I said, and people didn't understand where I was looking at it from. Umo, he went on to say now, as we're listening to Mo, Rulani got everything that he wanted, but he failed to give Sundowns what Sundowns was looking for. Again, I told you, Rulani is still young. He's a good coach, excellent coach. I've always praised Rulani, but he's still young for what Sundowns actually wants with him. And then another thing, what Sundowns did, this thing of having 3 coaches, 3 head coaches. You take 2 head coaches, more experienced than Rulani, and you make them assistants. What do you know is going to happen? How do you have 3 balls in one crowd? Things were bound to happen. And then again, also, what makes me sad? Another case of South African or South African football, South African not recognizing
their own.
South Africa is not recognizing.
wait, Tisha, who have you been talking to?
South Africans not recognizing. We look at the story of Rulani. But for to end of the season, when we give awards, we give awards to whom? To a person who's done well.
Who's been successful.
Who won coach of the season?
Was it not Rulani?
It was Rulani. How do you get rid of a coach who has just won you coach of the season?
He's won coach of the season for himself.
A team.
No, that trophy is a personal trophy.
It's a collective. When they judge by the team. It's not a player of the season, Baba, whereby he played. It's a collective effort. You give him coach of the season because he done well as a club. Then you do what? You don't recognize one of your own, you let them go. Guess what happens? Teams from other teams from outside the country recognize
His efforts.
and they take him. Iwetel is no child's play, Bow. Iwetel, I think now it's rated, it's ranked second after Al Ahly. It's bigger than Sundowns currently on the standings.
Look at this. We've had more. We've had Rulani. We've had Mangova. We've had Steve. We've had Pito. When Pito left, Mamelodi Sundowns was playing very well. And what have these 3 given the Mamelodi Sundowns faithfuls? Those are the fans and the management. What have they given them in terms of doing better than Upito?
Mr.
I think Upito was the only head coach. But at one particular time, we had like 3 head coaches at Mamelodi Sundowns, and that means the efforts and the results should have been tripled by then. But none of them managed to pick up the CAF Champions League.
Mr. E, we're quick to have this conversation about farmers' leagues around the world. Yeah. France was considered a farmers' league at some point. Yeah. Because they went from having Olympique Lyon, Lille, Olympique Marseille as their top teams, and Monaco. Yeah. They went from there to having a PSG, who were the top team and ruling throughout. Yeah. And Monaco came in and disturbed the balance once. Yeah. If you look at Mamelodi Sundowns, and it's a resource issue that we don't want to address, that Mamelodi Sundowns is playing in their own league. They're living in their own planet. Yeah. That's why when it comes to the league, we hand it to them every season. Yeah. So we
can't ahead of the final.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Mr. E, like you say, it hasn't been disrupted from Upito to Rulani. It hasn't been disrupted. Yeah. Everything in between went just the way that Pito left it. Yeah. The only difference was.
You know, I can add on to something before you continue. Ne? Yeah. When Pito left, he left who? Rulani. Yeah. It's the same Rulani that was there when Pito was there. Now Rulani is gone, Pito's gone. Watch Mamelodi Sundowns collapse.
Listen, let me continue. Let me cook, Mr. E. Yeah. The difference between Sundowns and Upito. Pito left Sundowns and went to go win the CAF Champions League with Al Ahly. Yeah. So something that he was hired at Al Ahly to do. Because Al Ahly were winning the league. It was not a joke. Yeah. But Al Ahly said, we want you because we saw you in the Champions League final last season. Yeah. We want you to come here and win this thing. Yeah. And what did he do? He delivered. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. And if you look at the reports of when Pito first arrived there, everybody in the media was talking against Pito. Yeah. Everyone was saying they don't want this guy. The Egyptian legends from Al Ahly were like, we don't want this guy.
The legends,
everyone.
They didn't like him at all.
He won the Champions League. He delivered what they asked him to deliver. Yeah. And they gave him a big applause. Yeah. Now the question because I hear your question, and the reason why I said there was no disruption from here to here is because since Pito left, there hasn't been a Champions League title that arrived at Klokop. Yeah. But the Champions League title arrived where Pito was. Yeah. You understand what I'm trying to say? So even if you're saying, no, it's been plug and play, domestically, it's been plug and play. But on the continent, it has not been able to reach that level because Pito has been absent.
So more, are you saying if Pito had remained at Mamelodi Sundowns, we would have seen maybe a Mamelodi Sundowns?
Because I also have a question to ask Mo. Yeah. When you say Pito took Champions League, it wasn't a smooth journey.
It wasn't a smooth journey.
You guys seem to forget. Let's not make it was a smooth journey and then things seem to collapse when Pito left. It wasn't a smooth journey.
Can you further tell us about the smooth journey, uThisha, weDiski? Was it difficult?
Let more continue.
Yeah. The reason why I'm raising this point is that people want to act like Sundowns is going to fall apart because these two brains have left. What I'm saying is that Sundowns is not just the man who stands as the representation of the club in the press conference. Sundowns has a structure. Yeah. Of very competent and capable people that they make it work. You understand? They're not cooking on the brains of one person. They're cooking on the brains of a system and a structure that has been put together. If you think that the 11 men on the pitch are important, imagine the 300 men they have behind the pitch who are analyzing, who are coming with tactics, who are working on the diet, who are working on these plans and those plans. This club that's why I say to you, this club when it comes to resources, somewhere else, if me and Mr. E go start a club, Mr. E has to be the guy who chooses diet. But because the players don't live in the complex, the players can eat whatever they want. Anyway. The players can go drinking on the weekends. Sundowns has built a system where players can't even get space to go buy a pussy. When was the last time you heard of a Sundowns player?
Even in restaurants, you hardly see
them. You hardly see them. You see them on TV. Yeah. And that's the thing, like about Mamelodi Sundowns. It's not just the men in people have mistaken Sundowns to be a one-man show. Yeah. And that's why I think Sundowns is making a statement by letting Rulani go, even though he's the coach who has the award for Coach of the Year last season. They want to prove a point that we can do it, Ngoba no Steve. Yeah. The only issue was Igor Yagantoana didn't cooperate. Yeah. So let him go. Let him go prove it. Why that? Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Can I ask you something? Sorry to shout it. Can I say, why did Rulani leave Mamelodi Sundowns? I know there's been a lot of stories being said in the media and everywhere else, but do you have any idea why he left Mamelodi Sundowns for weDiski? Because at one particular moment in time after leaving, he was jobless, so to speak, up until he was pronounced as the next coach for weDiski.
I don't know the man personally, but what I will say is, if you're wide at Casablanca and you look at sub-Saharan Africa, below the equator, who has been your problem for the past 10 years?
Sundowns.
It's been Sundowns. Yeah. Pito left and went to Al Ahly, and there was success there. Yeah. We did want success. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. So here's Pito's successor, who has now come out of Africa and he's continued that success of Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah.
So they want a head coach. So that's why they'll go for him. I believe when he left Sundowns, I don't know the man personally. I believe when he left Sundowns, he really didn't know where he was going. But you know what? The CV speaks for itself. 90-something matches, 60 wins. Yes, this man's his CV speaks for itself. You can say what you want. I mean, right now it sounds like maybe I'm talking against what he's been able to do. But what I'm saying is that continental issue is an issue because, bro, we won this thing. We wanted to stay at the top. Because don't forget, Pirates also won it. They disappeared from the continent for a while. They came back, they went to the final and they lost it in 2011. You understand? So since then, Pirates have struggled to get back there. Sundowns' fight has been establish us as the same way Real Madrid is established. That when Madrid is in the Champions League, semi-finals or final or win. That's it. So Sundowns right now, their battle has been with the continent. It's not been domestically. Because they know that domestically, football is standing still. Football is still
a step or two.
Football is ego-driven. Football is driven by people who are full of themselves, who think that no, yenza kahle. You understand? And Sundowns Sundowns is a business running. Sundowns is a business that's operating in a football space. Everyone else is dealing a talent. Sundowns is dealing a stats. So at the end of the day, it's gonna cause friction because that's why Wydad came for Upito, but they won't go for Riviero. I mean, you understand the kind of example I'm trying to put to you. It's not because he's winning on the con, because they know that he comes from a very good structure. And what he will bring to Wydad, he will grow the club as a whole. He's not going to just grow the team.
UThisha, weDiski, I'm going to pose this question to you as well. Why do you think Rulani left Mamelodi Sundowns? I know in the recently he brought Lodge from in a surprise move from Pirates to Mamelodi Sundowns. And people think it's because of Rulani. After that launch, you were seen trending on social media for misbehavior. I think you touched that they don't drink elsewhere. You hardly see a Mamelodi Sundowns player being involved in what Lodge did. Do you think that had to do with his move to Wydad?
Look, I'm going to be bold here and say, Rulani left because he felt unappreciated.
He felt unappreciated by the Mamelodi Sundowns management.
Exactly that. People seem to forget. As a Sundowns, flourish. I hear you guys talking about systems and but don't underestimate or undermine influence your coach. Those boys, when they were playing for coach Rulani. They had a relationship, a special relationship.
I like that when you mentioned that. I remember there was
they were playing for him.
You remember the picture, the letter that was trending that was sent to what's his name, uThisha. Is that the type of
that's the type of relationship? You know, when they make comparison of Rulani, Pep. Pep is doing that same thing. That's something, treat each player as an individual. Understanding good every player is unique. As right now, there's few key players from Mamelodi Sundowns who won't admit, but they want to go to Wydad right now. To join
we might see an exodus to Wydad.
I think you know what's going to happen because Rulani, I got so much respect for Rulani. Rulani might opt not to take those players along because he doesn't want that tag. He destabilized Mamelodi Sundowns, so he wants to do his own thing. And you know why I choose Wydad? It's simple. Same thing that happened to Upito. In fact, you go to the best team, a team who has everything, a team that's going to support you to go all the way. Upito right now, I've been spot on a couple of times, and I'm going to be bold enough to say right now, if Wydad doesn't take a Champions League next season, they're going to be losing finalists.
Okay, I hear you, uThisha, with this.
If Wydad, you know why? You know why? Because you know why? Because of Rulani. Rulani is going to get the support that he needed. Sundowns gave the support. Rulani, in fact, you give him one season. He doesn't take the Champions League. He loses in the semi-finals. He takes the FL, and then you release him like that. Why not give him a second season? You go and you bring your coach, who's coaching Mamelodi Sundowns? Steve Kompela. So what's the major difference between Steve Kompela and Rulani? So what's the major difference between Rulani?
That was going to be one of my questions to you, uThisha, weDiski. Some time back we saw uKompela leaving Golden Arrows, he went to Mamelodi Sundowns. Then they formed that trio of the coaches at Mamelodi Sundowns. But at a later stage, it seemed more like he had fallen out of favor with management, and then he left and went on to join, I think it was Amaswaiswai. Yeah. But now he's back. So he's back at Mamelodi Sundowns.
Question:
How does that work?
Not undermining Ukompela, but does he understand the shoes that he has to fill now?
Yeah.
Does he understand the shoes he has to fill now? Because those are very big shoes.
Size 50.
There were rumors uThisha Sundowns, they want that former Al Ahly coach who has the Champions League. If Sundowns opted for a coach who has won Champions League, I would understand. I understand your argument to say if Sundowns wants a coach that has experience of winning the Champions League, but they go and get Ukompela. Is Sivia Kompela, does he have a Champions League?
No.
And he actually does he have a league title? Does he have a league title?
At Morocco.
So what is Sundowns saying?
Yeah.
So what is Sundowns actually telling us? What statement are they showing us?
So Tisha weDiski, you are saying the reason why Rulani left is because he was not being appreciated by the management at Mamelodi Sundowns.
Appreciated. You know, sometimes when we come to this thing of Uguti, everyone must know their place.
Yeah.
CEO, top management, mid management, supervisor, none.
Yeah.
But in fact, as a CEO, most successful CEOs are not shy to get advice from a cleaner.
Okay, Tisha weDiski. Now,
shy.
while we continue with this conversation, I want to find out something here. Some time back, Rulani left Mamelodi Sundowns and went to Orlando Pirates. And I can tell you that year, Orlando Pirates was a machine under Mitchell. I think he was the assistant to Mitchell before he went to Chippa United. The reason why he went to Chippa United is because he fell out of favor of management because he was fighting with Mitchell. I think there was one of the videos where Mitchell, I think he was trying to get a message across, and then Ometi Sanda, So now at Mamelodi Sundowns, there is rumors that he fought with the sporting director.
With the TD.
Is it the technical director? With the technical director.
Who happened to just have arrived. So when I tell me now, ngoba wena
Rulani
so
in person?
So ngoba wena cha mina ngiyabuza.
Is that not
okay.
how Rulani works?
So no, my question, ngoba wena CEO, if you're CEO, you come into a new company. Is it not your job to find out what has been happening in the establishment from whom? Obviously a person above you, because the minute we CEO and you're the top guy. It's not your job to find out the happenings of the company from management. Lower management, lower than you.
No.
So now,
it is my job. But you all report to
you're finding a well-oiled machine, and now you want to mess everything out without having spoken to us. As a coach, even now as a coach, you must come find out what has been happening. Then nothing wrong. Guys, we want to move the ship forward. I don't want to change what has been done. I want to add on to what has been done. You can't come and change. So what do you expect? You come and change. What do you expect?
Okay, so I'm the technical director. I'm coming to Mamelodi Sundowns. I've got a vision for this club. I want us to win back-to-back trophies in terms of CAF Champions League or whatsoever. But you and I are not on the same wavelength.
Share your vision. Make me understand the vision now.
Yeah, but you don't want to understand.
Don't force me to understand. Don't force me to understand. Don't force me to understand.
So, the TD is new. He's got a vision. He's been appointed by the management at Mamelodi Sundowns to drive the vision forward in terms of football. But you are fighting with him.
I can bring up an example of a case study in Europe, right, where technical director left Tottenham Hotspurs. And found his way at Liverpool. That's Michael Edwards. Michael Edwards then got Jurgen Klopp and Jurgen Klopp's technical team to come to Liverpool so they can start a project together. He then left that project because he wasn't seeing eye to eye with Jurgen Klopp. And the moment Jurgen Klopp is leaving, and when Jurgen Klopp is leaving, then you have this whole situation where Michael Edwards is the first man back through the door. You see where it's starting? Here we want to have an argument about the guy who manages. Understand? Would you like it if a branch manager told you how to do your job?
No, I wouldn't.
So let me paint a picture here. Let me cook it. So we don't want to see it from the TD's perspective. Because the TD's job is to make sure that the resources of the club continue to replenish themselves.
Yeah.
And now,
including the coaching department.
This role in football is becoming more and more important. The reason why is because for long times, look at Manchester United. Too much power was given to the man in charge of the team, which is the manager, the coach, say Alex Ferguson. You look at the club, 10 years after he's gone. The rules are leaking, this is that, this is that. And it's a reflection of what happens when you give one person too much power. It's not a kingdom. You understand? You are not ordained to be a king here. We are here to do a job. If you can't do the job, we need to reshuffle and get the right man to do the job. And right now in football, that's where football is going. Look at what happened with Real Madrid. Real Madrid went to go fetch Carlo Ancelotti, who was coaching at Everton at the time, to say, no, look, you can go. You understand? The same way Zidane left after winning 3 Champions Leagues in a row. 3. And they're like, no, ngahamba boy. And they went to go get Carlo Ancelotti because continuity is the job of the TD. Results is the job of the manager. You sit down with the manager to say, you're not producing the results. Who sits with the bosses to say why the results not being produced? It's the TD.
The TD,
The technical director doesn't just look at the team of 11 men or 23-man squad or 23-man squad plus first team plus reserve team plus. He looks at the entire institution. And that's why if you look at football at the moment, the reason why I like Liverpool Football Club, if you look at where Liverpool have been making their signings for the past 2 years, you never heard of a high-profile signing. But every year, 3 or 4 teenagers walk through the door. Harvey Elliott, Fabio Carvalho, Sepp van der Berg. The reason that's happening is because the TD has a vision for the club. So if you're going to need a left-footed player to replace Mohamed Salah, you have him. He's 19. He's called Harvey Elliott. So the TD's job is that. So the TD has to look at the manager objectively, outside of the public sphere of how people see this guy. We're looking at it from the perspective of the public to say, this guy won this award, this guy performed these miracles. Why is he losing his job? The TD is saying, but he didn't produce these things.
This is what we wanted him to produce. He didn't give us.
How many satellite teams does Sundowns have? Instead, how many of those players from satellite teams are making it into Sundowns? How much talent is Sundowns losing to other clubs around the country? That's a question that we also have to ask ourselves because Orlando Pirates went through it, Kaizer Chiefs went through it. Where Kaizer Chiefs had satellite teams and so many players were coming through the Kaizer Chiefs development. Everyone knows someone of the Kaizer Chiefs tracksuit, Kaizer Chiefs. But when you look at who's making it into the 22, it's one guy. Instead, there's 1 or 2 talents that are making it through. The rest of the talent, it's not.
The rest are forced to be ball boys.
Today, as we sit here, the captain of Kaizer Chiefs is a former Orlando Pirates boy. You understand what I'm trying to explain? So Sundowns, they will get too big to a point where if they just rely on the manager's perspective for how their club must go forward, they're going to end up in a situation like what Chiefs has gone through. What Orlando Pirates almost went through. What Swallows went through. Because that thing is a machine. If you don't take care of the machine from the TD's perspective, then you don't have a machine. Kaizer Chiefs, when they were struggling for results and things were going down and the fans were going to protest, what did they do? They hired a TD. Instead, maybe it was someone.
Was it in Tegi?
No, it wasn't Tegi.
It was before Tegi.
It was the latest TD is
the one before Tegi. I remember.
Because the latest one is Mtawung, Bobby Jr. So at the end of the day, you need to understand, someone needs to take care of the club. And if you look at the likes of FSG doesn't just run Liverpool. They have a couple of sporting. They have the Red Sox. They have Liverpool. So when they come in and they buy that club, they want to make sure that the person who's taking care of the business of the club is also being taken care of. So yes, we know that you're the manager. You don't only stand there with the tracksuit and watch the guys train. You sit in boardrooms and we say to you, we don't want to give you this budget because we want to take some of it and you want to extend the stadium. Then you must accept that that's what must happen. Because if you look at Pochettino, just want to finish with this. When you look at Pochettino's career, right? Pochettino is a coach that has a lot of potential. He went to Tottenham Hotspurs as Tottenham Hotspurs were transitioning to a new stadium. What happened with him? He won no trophies. You look at Arsenal. Arsenal went from the Invincibles to struggling for trophies. What happened? They were building the stadium at that time, which meant that when they went in for Ronaldo, they didn't have the money to get it.
To buy him,
It's either he came at their price. When they went for Xabi Alonso, he was supposed to come at their price. So the talents that they were getting were not the talents they wanted. Because every big player, even Zlatan Ibrahimovic, was supposed to be in an Arsenal shirt. But because they were busy moving from Highbury to the Emirates, their budget to say, which will give you all the money in the world, was not there. So that's what I'm saying when I say it's very important for Sundowns fans all over the world to look at this situation and say, fine, we lost a very fantastic coach, but the TD has made a decision. If we don't back him, we don't back the club. And if we back the man who's left, we back him at Wydad. Then everybody must take off their Sundowns shirts and wear their Wydad shirts. Because at the end of the day, He's left. He's gone on to pursue a better place, a greener pasture.
He's got a brand new project.
He's got a brand new project.
Yeah.
He can't help you now. The person you can hold accountable is the TD. And say, fine, we've heard the story that there's this person and this person. You are left here with us.
Yeah, sebenza sonke.
Whatever you said is going to happen must happen.
Those are the insights of Umo and uThisha weDiski on the movement of Rulani. Okay, no, I'll bring you. I just want to drink a glass of water.
My last sense. Yeah, when I move, all those things that you say.
Let's take a glass of water and then we'll come back.
Let's get a glass of water and then we come back. We're going to continue with this conversation. uThisha weDiski, he still has a lot to say about Rulani. He still has a lot to say to Umo. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Rasmus Højlund, thunderous. It's an absolute net buster.
You're still watching the Diski preview show, and it's the round table. We just finished drinking glasses of water. Mo had one, I had one. But uThisha weDiski, he had 3 of them. He still has a lot to say about Rulani. uThisha weDiski, it's over to you. You wanted to mention something or make a comment on what Mo said?
No, I totally agree with everything Mo said.
Yeah.
Great points. But you know, it would have made more sense if Chiefs was doing what Sundowns is doing. By that I mean, Chiefs, with all the struggles with Chiefs, it would make more sense to get a new TD who's going to restructure. Because Chiefs is struggling. But now you find Sundowns, a very old machine. A team that took awards, coaches took awards, players took awards, and then now you want to what? You want to restructure, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Sometimes it's going through a restructuring phase, and now you want to say to me, yes, they say growth is important, and most people fear growth. But now my argument is, we always speak of a heritage, which when you go to a club, we've praised the Sundowns, we've praised the Pirates to say they have heritage. You can walk into a Sundowns pitch and know what to expect because we have heritage. You bring in a new TD, does he know the Sundowns heritage? But are we saying now we're changing? Are we saying Sundowns has won the league 10 times and now we're changing the heritage to do better? Not realizing you're going to destroy what already has been there. And remember, Sundowns, it's quiet. Let me finish now. And remember, I've always said to you, Sundowns now has become targets. Every team wants to beat Sundowns now. With all these I don't want to say arguments, disagreements happening in the background. Teams like our Chiefs, teams like our Pirates, they're looking at this and it's like, now gap. We must counter onto this. Sundowns is going to be their own downfall.
So Sundowns from now going forward after the loss of Rulani to Wydad, it's a downfall.
So we're saying now, we're not saying it's a downfall. I'm saying it's a gamble. It's a risk. It's either of two things. Either it's Sundowns now, they progress and they go and win Champions League like they want. Or everything that Rulani, everything that Upito has worked hard for becomes doomed.
uThisha weDiski, tell me something. Don't you think maybe the management at Klorkop, they thought maybe Mamelodi Sundowns was now getting too predictable? We saw towards the end of the season they were beginning to lose or draw games. Don't you think maybe they needed to reshuffle a little bit and become a little bit unpredictable, which is a very big tool in the world of football?
So are you telling me Sundowns won the league by chance? Are you telling me Sundowns won the AFL by chance? Are you telling me Sundowns go to all these cup finals by chance? Are you telling me Rulani coach of the season by chance? Are you telling me Ron Williams award by chance? Are you telling me Abo Omukwena Mudau being looked by teams from overseas is by chance? So are you telling me all these accomplishments by Sundowns?
All I'm saying, uThisha weDiski, is that Mamelodi Sundowns has been a very well-oiled machine all along. Up until towards the end of the season, I think they were beginning.
That was coming. And it's in your court with support. When I talk about the support, I said to you, with the Sundowns is not getting the support they're supposed to be getting. Do you know what's going to happen in Rulani? They at Wydad. When Wydad is playing Champions League, E-League pauses. Rulani focuses on the Champions League. That's when Wydad is going to dominate. Wydad is going to beat Sundowns if they meet Sundowns in the Champions League. Whereas Lagiti, Sundowns is going to be playing those congested fixtures. So what I'm saying to you, the Sundowns didn't get his support. Why are you blaming the coach? Rulani one season, he accomplishes so much. Then you release him like that. Why am I saying? Back to the thing what I said when we started this conversation, it's now a fact of us South Africans not recognizing Our own.
Yeah.
Lucas Rateng,
Yeah.
captain
Yeah.
of Leeds, win a stage, Elite. Benny McCarthy, our own top goal scorer, AFCON. He's still the top goal scorer currently for Bafana Bafana.
Yeah.
Striker coach at Man United.
Not anymore.
Quitting Fortune.
Oh, he left by
He-
the way.
he- quitting
He
Fortune.
was replaced by Fernando.
Our own.
Yeah.
Scout.
Yeah.
Semenyu.
Yeah.
Mkwena.
Yeah.
Mkwena.
Yeah.
Most capped player. Still thina South Africans. Siyamgxeka. We did the same. We did the same Mopito.
Can I just answer this question?
Now Rulani. Sesivala Rulani. We're still doing the same thing again.
No. Can I just?
Okay,
Can I
thank
just?
you very much for those
Mr.
insights.
E.
Utisha, weDiski. Let me just quickly hear
I just want
what
to answer.
more he's going to say before we move on with the conversation. I think we need to get on to the other coach. I think he's doing very well on the football space.
Does Charlize Theron have a statue in America?
No, she doesn't.
Does she have a statue here?
I'm busy.
No,
No,
no.
it's fine.
No, but
it's a movie.
you know,
It's fine. It's fine.
I just want to say this.
But what we're saying more is that if a South African is doing very well, that person has to be recognized either overseas or
Can I bring it back?
Yeah.
Can I bring it back for these people that are saying
it's recognition
you
that
must make statues for these guys, right?
Yeah.
When the question is asked, right? What did these guys do for a flag in South Africa? Not on an individual level. We're talking about a Springboks, maybe the example I'm trying to make. Springboks have been winning these World Cups, right? No one is sitting here and arguing that these guys need to win and get statues, these guys need to get statues. But for footballers that have played and made a name for themselves somewhere, I won. Because that's where they wanted him and that's where he was comfortable, that's where he played. He never brought a trophy to their country at Tata, South Africa. Here is a CAF. Here is a World Cup. But this argument is being had that why don't we build these guys statues? Why don't we build the guys who won cricket World Cups? Why don't we build?
Because stage. Don't look at stage. Don't be.
I'm coming there because I get your argument is that we don't appreciate these guys.
Correct.
Right now, Rulani is going to Morocco. He's building his legacy. If he goes on and wins those Champions Leagues for Wydad, it's against us. So must we come back and celebrate him? Oh, remember that one time we could have won a Champions League. You took it. So here, we're building your statue in South Africa. The only reason why they will build Uzuma a statue in Copenhagen, he's a legend for that club. In that area. He's not a legend for their country.
His name is there on the wall of Copenhagen.
It's almost as if South Africans and footballers have a very toxic relationship. Just because someone played football and we want to celebrate them doesn't necessarily mean that every one of these guys was a hero. You understand what I'm saying? You have to first ask yourself a key question. What did he bring for the country? Because when he plays for Bafana Bafana, he's carrying the South African flag. So what is he bringing for that flag? When he's playing at the Champions League and he wins it, he's winning it for a different flag, for Manchester United's flag. It's a different story. Let Manchester United build him a statue. That's how they can appreciate him. We also appreciate him for what he's done. But the reality is that argument that's being had, people jump to it very quickly. Baby Jake, when Baby Jake fights international, he's representing his country. Because he's a South African boxer fighting against a Mexican boxer in an international bout. He's representing the flag of his country. When players go and play for Real Madrid and they kiss, you know what I mean?
It's a Spanish.
You understand?
But Eqineni, Umabadlala. Unjabulo Blom is playing there in USA. Mate in the ball, they say they're South African. Unjabulo Blom. Uvinas Junior from Brazil. When he touches the ball, they say they're Brazilian. So I understand you. When you talk about flags, I mean, what they do, I understand.
We should just let it go.
I understand you. You come to a Springboks. Do you know why Springboks is successful? It's Springboks. They have this thing of if you want to play for the Springboks, you must be playing local. What? And then what happens, Manch? What happens now? After playing? What do you do? They involve you. They involve you.
Thank you very much, Tisha.
And now, Benzan, it's a Springboks. Do you know what they're doing now? Osiakoli is Springboks. Now they're open, which you can go play overseas. It's a sort of our island.
Tisha weDiski for those insights on the recognition of South African sports persons. Thank you very much, Tisha weDiski. I told you that today by the time we get to the end of this show, you're going to be having a PhD in sports. This is what we're talking about. Tisha weDiski, just to go back a little bit, you said during our conversation when we're talking about the loss of Rulani, you said Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, they must take advantage of the loss of Rulani to Wydad and see if they can dethrone Mamelodi Sundowns from the top. Now tell me something. Oliveira, he's been there at Orlando Pirates. He's done so well. He's a Cup specialist. Finished second on the log, and he's going to play in the CAF Champions League. Do you think this time around, I'm a Pagania, or maybe I should pose this question to you as well. Do you think this time around Orlando Pirates will be able to win the league? Please let us know in the comment section. Let me start with uThisha, weDiski. Do you think Rivero is going to win the championship this year?
Next season? Let's not specify and say championship, but trophies, yes.
Yeah, trophies
he will win trophies. He will win. He will win trophies.
Yeah.
And again, remember a couple of shows back when we spoke about teams representing South Africa in the Champions League.
Yeah.
I said to you, I was happy Uguti Pirates. Is or represent South Africa with Mamelodi Sundowns. The only two teams with stars. That's going to happen. Now, what I'm telling you again is going to shock a lot of people. But I'm saying to you, Uguti Pirates is going to go further than Mamelodi Sundowns.
So Orlando Pirates
is going to go further than Mamelodi Sundowns.
Are you implying that Orlando Pirates is going to be a better team than Orlando Pirates? Or sorry, maybe the other way around. Orlando Pirates is going to be a better team than Mamelodi Sundowns.
Orlando Pirates is going to be a better team
than
Mamelodi Sundowns. I want to let the Sundowns ithathe league with 30 points. I find that this season khohlwa. This season khohlwa. This thing of Sundowns not having a loss. This thing of Sundowns not having a loss in the first 15 games. I find a khohlwa. Sundowns uzophaka this season. Uzobona.
With the new technical
director.
What do you think about the competition that's going to be there in the top 3 teams in the country more? We're talking about Mamelodi Sundowns that's dominated the PSL over the years, and now we're seeing Orlando Pirates. By the way, they drew, or rather they beat Sevilla by 2-0. And Sevilla is a very big team.
Yeah, don't look at the badges. Don't look at the team sheets.
No, I don't want to look at the team sheet. I don't want you to tell me that it's Sevilla. That was being
because
the results go down as Orlando Pirates.
When you hear Sevilla, you think you're thinking Ramos.
Let me tell you something more. If the Paganias hear you,
let me answer uThisha by saying that CAF is a different animal. And he said it when he said, Guti, you're expecting Rulani to go play Africa and then come back the same week and play domestic and then fly out again to go play Africa. And he must manage that. Now you're asking Pirates Riviero again to do the same thing. To go and maintain the 2 trophies he has, plus go play in Africa, plus play in the PSL, plus the MTN 8. You understand? So I think where uThisha's coming from is a personality issue. You know, he has a quality personality that's running the club. You understand? He doesn't like he doesn't like Magnoba and Steve Compel. He's like, these guys are gonna fail. You understand? These guys are control.
That's more defamation of character. Is this defamation of character? That's most of what. You don't put any case. Defamation of character.
So it's a personality issue between yours truly, uThisha, weDiski, and Mamelodi Sundowns.
Mr. E, if you think that fixture congestion is going to affect Mamelodi Sundowns, it definitely also has to affect Orlando Pirates. If fixture congestion is going to cause, because I think one of the biggest mistakes that happened last season with Mamelodi Sundowns was they valued their time in the PSL too much. You understand? It was like when Pep won the league and then lost the Champions League final to Chelsea. Chelsea was not a better team. We all know that Manchester City at that point was the better team. But the mistake that they did was they got into a title race against Liverpool that went to the last day. So they still had to pay attention to what was happening in the league. And they couldn't say we can afford to lose these matches in the league so we can focus on the Champions League. By the time they got there, there was fixture congestion. Because if you remember that year, they lost the cup to Liverpool, they won the league against Liverpool, they lost the Champions League to Chelsea. And then I forgot who they lost the other cup to. But they walked away with 2 trophies. I think it was the League Cup and the Premier League. There comes a time, and Antonio Conte once did this at Inter Milan. Antonio Conte once went all the way with Inter Milan to the Europa League final and lost it. And I remember that year, I think they knocked out Manchester United on the way to the final. The next year he came back. He was in the Champions League group stages. He went and dropped all those games and he lost the majority of the games, finished fourth in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, Inter is crazy. Why are they finishing fourth in the league, in the Champions League? They're so shit.
Yeah.
Look at what they did. That same season, he told the players from that point when they got knocked out of the group stages that every match in the league is now a final. So now you need to understand that at some point, Rulani Mokwena was supposed to look at it and say, guys, we have a lead of 10 points and no one here is going to catch us. Forget this league. Let's focus there.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Put your best players there. Play your development players in the PSL.
Yeah.
Make sure that Abu Mokwena are rested, Abu Williams are rested.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have a team of scouts and technicians who are looking at your African opponents and preparing for just that. And have a team that specializes in the Champions League.
Yeah.
If you pay attention to where football is going. And that's why I like teams with big squads. Man City has a big squad. Why do they have a big squad? Because when they go play against in the FA Cup, they go play Abu Bob.
Yeah.
Bob plays there. Doku does it. He rests. If they get to a point where they're in the semi-finals, oh my goodness, we have to take this thing seriously. Then Kevin De Bruyne comes and plays.
Yeah.
Then they know that they just have to play 2 games and win it. But the reality is, you can't take the same squad and make them play 4 different tournaments.
Yeah.
And then expect that you're going to come out with results from all of them. That is the downfall of Rulani Mokwena, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
And just to close it off,
Yeah.
Orlando Pirates, they don't have the squad depth. Maybe they do. Maybe I've not seen all their players.
Yeah.
But if they're now adding another additional tournament to their schedule, because that's what the Champions League is.
Yeah, because the problem with the Champions League is that there's so much traveling. You live here, you go to Tanzania, you go to Egypt. I think that takes a lot of fuel off your tank.
You know what it's like, Mr. E? If you take your sauce and you have PSL, Ama Chiefs.
Yeah.
You have cup, Ama Chiefs, and you have another cup, Ama Chiefs. Then you say MTN 8. Now you are saying no, adding plate, Ama Chiefs, Champions League. And then you take the same sauce and you sauce the chips like this. But some of them will have Champions League is also Pelé. So somewhere, somehow, both these teams will have to make the sacrifice. Because you can't use the same 11. They'll get injured. If you lose a player playing in the Nedbank Cup. You can't play the Champions League. So what's happening in the Nedbank Cup is affecting the Champions League.
Exactly.
So you have to either, if both coaches are world class, or all 3 coaches are world class between these 2 teams. For Mamelodi Sundowns, your objective is simple: Champions League. Sacrifice the league. Even if you win it by 1 point,
it's fine.
It doesn't matter. Even if you come out second, but the fact of the matter is that Lentosi Khalel is Champions League.
Say full. Yeah. Okay, teacher, weDiski, tell me something as we continue the conversation on Orlando Pirates. You're saying Orlando Pirates is gonna struggle against Mamelodi Sundowns is going to struggle against Orlando Pirates. They've been doing very well in terms of their preseason. I think they've gone overseas. I think they are neighbors now. That's what I want to talk about. Their neighbors, which is Kaizer Chiefs and Arena. They've taken things seriously this time around, and the whole team has gone for their preseason in Turkey. And I think this shows the seriousness of the business that is at Arena as far as the management is concerned. But now, tell me something. How do you think that's going to impact their place on the log positively? Because they finished at position number 10. Yeah. Do you think this time around Mamelodi Sundowns would not hit them 5-1? Maybe it's going to be 1-0. Hey, what?
That 5-1 by luck, but by luck, but taking nothing away from Sundowns. That's why you see what's happening at Sundowns. It should actually be happening at Chiefs. And luckily it is happening at Chiefs. Chiefs mfani yenze kahle at Unabi. Yes. Mfani yenze kahle. 10 out of 10.
But Unabi, does he have any notable accolades?
He does.
Which one is that?
He does.
He was a runner-up in the Confederations Cup.
Unabi, Baba, CV yakhe ubheke assistant yakhe. You know what's nice about Unabi? And assistant yakhe. Assistant Nabi. Do you know what assistant Nabi is more qualified than Unabi? There was ego esikhuluma ngawo. They're not there. Ngithe kuwe we're not talking about Sundowns earlier on. Ngithi mawisi ungasabi ucela advice from the team. So Unabi, because I'm too smart. Get someone who's smarter than you. To be alongside you, so it doesn't become an ego. Problem. It's like it should be complete. It should be now one my resource. So what did they need now? They just needed a proper technical staff, and they got exactly that. So
it looks like uThisha weDiski. You've got Rulani in Wydad. You are saying he's going to be successful. Now you've got Unabi. I think he's Tanzanian. No, he's Tunisian. He's Tunisian. He coached it. He's Tunisian, which means he's French speaking. You are saying he's going to succeed as well at Kaizer Chiefs.
You know what's nice about Unabi? Chiefs being number 10, Chiefs being number 9, he succeeded.
So my problem with these guys, when you take a look at the success, I know Umlungisi is going to undergo our classes of Arabic, and then maybe Nabi. But do you think there's going to be a language barrier in terms of talking to the players? I know at times when you're a coach, you need to stand up, you need to scream, hey, when I shabala, wenzani. How do you think they're going to fare in their first year in their respective?
They want to do very well. For KT language in Fana, you know, technology has advanced. These players, they have interpreters. When it comes to football, whether you're in Germany, whether you're in Brazil, whether you're in South Africa, whether you're in England, the objective of football is the same. Take the ball and put it in the net.
Are you telling me what the Kaizer Chiefs is as Oshisa?
Chiefs is Oshis. The Chiefs, there was Chiefs is a rich hero, and it happens. It happens in football. Many teams done that. Many teams where Chiefs was. And in Chiefs' mind, the session return. And what's working for Chiefs is when you have other teams having conflicts, when things are not going smooth. Like Sundowns. Chiefs is going to use what's happening in Sundowns as motivation. Pirates, on the other hand, Pirates must remind you they took 2 trophies. They were able to defend the trophies. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen with Pirates? Remember, Pirates hasn't been in the news for negative or arguments on and so they smooth. Yes, about match. Pirates. They doing they think the priest is whooping Spain. That same experience they did last season. But we are PSL. Now they're going back again. They're going back again. They're going back again. Spain. But we are at times 2. It Chiefs. Last time they went to Whoopi, they went to play. They went to Tanzania to play young Africans. Then none. Even like the local team couldn't. But match. But take.
That's how serious.
Gain experience. It Chiefs and Fana no manga tiwa iye take. It's 6-0. For the FX, they left and they went to take.
They tried their best.
But totally experience. It take. They're gonna come back and the results are coming. I say to last season, before the end of the season, this season is going to be one of a kind. This season, I see a point or 2 points difference between number 1 and number 2. Then the 30-point difference, it ended.
Okay, so your number 1, number 2, let's try and bring in Kaizer Chiefs into the picture. So your number 1 and number 2 confirmed, you're going to have your...
1, 2, 3, Sundowns, Pirate Chiefs. No particular order.
The Chiefs is us again.
Chiefs up on top 3. Top 3.
So Chiefs is also shy Pirates or shy the Sundowns.
This season. Let's not talk a lot. Let's allow the footballers to play. Let's allow the footballers.
Can I tell you what my thoughts are?
What are your thoughts here? I'm going to come back to you.
Can I tell you what my thoughts are?
Let me start with you.
uThisha is saying because Pirates was stepping on European grass last season. I'm told that's what made them a better team. I'm told. It's funny how this argument we have it backwards. When a team plays their preseason in Europe, we say they're gonna come back playing better football. But the grass that they use in Europe is not the grass they use here in Africa. Do you think that there's artificial grass in Tanzania? Do you think there's artificial grass in Botswana?
No.
Do you think there's artificial grass in Morocco? So it's not the grass thing. You know what it is? It's our perception that whatever happens in Europe is better than what happens in Africa. You understand? Saying as teenage Africans. To a point where we're like, no, because if Pirates went and beat Sevilla, that's why they'll come back Bashisa. That's a mentality that says to me, it's not the grass.
Maybe the other conversation that we need to have is how does it affect you as Orlando Pirates or Kaizer Chiefs in terms, when you go out and play overseas? What changes?
You know what's nice? It's nice beating someone it's nice beating someone who's achieved it all.
So when you get there, do you have a lot of exposure and experience, or do you consult with other coaches who are there to make you a better team?
Let me make my statement. I have a lot of arguments with my Baba about the tournaments, like football in general. And he was pressing to me that, listen, what's called Spain is going to win the Euros, is going to win the Euros. And what I always do with him is I always oppose. That's what I always do. That's how you keep the conversation going and lively. So he says to me, I'm going to rub it in your face that Spain won this thing. I said to him that Spain winning that thing doesn't change my life. Because Spain will never win CAF, Africa Cup of Nations. He says to me, but if you put them into the Africa Cup of Nations, they will win it. I'm like, the difference is European teams don't want to come to Africa. But Africans want to go to Europe. And when you look at it competitively, what does it benefit us to play on AstroTurf?
Yeah.
What does it benefit us to play on grass where the ball is always flat on the floor?
Yeah.
When you can go and play whatever in a small stadium like us. You understand?
Yeah.
These guys should be playing their preseason against about 80 members. You understand? I'm not saying that 80 members is world class. But what I'm saying is bring the football to African conditions. What people don't understand, people talk about Ireland and South Africa now. Hey, everybody's now watching rugby. There's a reason why rugby has a north and a southern hemisphere. It's because altitude plays a big role in rugby. You understand? When the higher you go up from the ocean, you understand? The air changes. So if you look at European players when they come play the rugby here in Africa, they struggle. There's a reason why when you look at what Saru did. Saru used to play the rugby with Netherlands and with New Zealand and Australia. Where was New Zealand and Australia during the time? They were 1, 2, and South Africa was third. South Africa was 1, Australia was second, New Zealand was third. That's when we were playing against the Crusaders, the Highlanders, and we were playing in the Curry Cup. You remember when there was still the Vodacom Curry Cup. We were exchanging skills with those countries. Europe got into a place where they were like, guys, we're going to World Cups and we're getting crushed every year. New Zealand is winning it. The moment you meet a team from the Southern Hemisphere, you're out. So what do? They say to South African rugby, no, come here. Play your rugby here. We have the money to pay for your flights, all those things. What happens subsequently? Ireland is ranked number 1. Portugal is coming up. France is coming up. It's not because there's something in Europe. It's because there's something here. And that's why Saru has always understood what they want, we have. So what we are saying is that we're going to...
In terms of football.
If you look at it pound for pound, South Africa, Mamelodi Sundowns is on the level of who? In Europe. Let's say you always compare them to Manchester City. They're on the level of Manchester City. They won the league exceptionally well. They can't play preseason against Manchester City. They go play a third-tier team in Germany. Third tier. You can't even name me a third-tier team in South Africa. But you're going to play a third-tier team in Europe. What does that say to our football?
Personal man.
Those are
and by the way, tell me one thing. Man City, when we say tell him of sets. When we say a team is going to play in Spain, we're not saying they're going for a smooth or greener grass. He mustn't be that narrow-minded. They're not going for that.
So when
if you wanted greener grass, these players, these teams, they afford them. They'll go buy that grass, that lawn from they'll import it and plant it.
So you're not celebrating.
It's not about the grass. It's not about the grass.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for those insights. Thank you very much more for schooling us at uThisha weDiski. On the last note, I just wanted to find out, we now have the new kid on the block in the PSL, Magesi has finally qualified. Do you think they are also going to take the way that Cape Town Spurs took, because they're going to be playing their first top flight football this season?
Hey, no comment, Mr. Ebe.
No comment. uThisha weDiski, your thoughts, please.
And finally, this is not a good time to be promoted. The teams are hungry and PSL. And finally, they came. Makesi came at the wrong time because she's matches of going in Makesi. This thing off. Did
Makesi beat Chiefs? Yeah. Was it Nedbank? When was it?
I think
everyone beats Kaizer Chiefs.
Like I'm telling you, this is not the right time to be promoted. Makesi is opag. Yeah, but at 5-1, Sundowns hit Chiefs. Makesi is a 12-5-1 against Kaizer Chiefs. And again, maybe we should have this topic again in another roundtable. We cannot run away from the fact this newly promoted side. They stay one season and go back.
And then they go back.
And if they survive by my playoffs. Otherwise, Irisha's Bay just survived on my playoff. Between Irisha's Bay and my case, one of them are going. And remember, my prediction was Swallows is going to be relegated. Swallows wasn't relegated, but guess what? There's no Swallows.
They were lucky not to be relegated.
But they're relegated most. They're gone because they sold the state house. But they sold the state house. So what are we saying?
No, that's we thank you very much, uThisha weDiski. I told you by the time we come to the end of the show, you're going to be having a PhD in the sport. uThisha weDiski is the man who's always here to make sure that happens. And Mr. Mo, with his insights, we'd like to thank him very much for being part of the show. I would like to thank you very much for watching today's episode of The Roundtable. My name is yours truly, Mr. E. Until next time.
Peace.